guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally going to be filming an explanation about where I've been. If you follow me on Instagram and you watch my Instagram live streams, then you probably know the story, you probably know where I've been, but I wanted to do a formal sit-down video to really give you guys all the information so it's there and I can explain where I've been for the past almost 2 years, because in my very long time on YouTube, I have definitely taken some breaks from uploading, but never this long, so I really think that you guys deserve a good explanation for where I've been. Before I get started, I do just want to give a trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about a lot of mental illness issues, a lot of body image issues, sexual assault, things like that. So if you are triggered by things like that, please go watch another one of my videos. Even though at the time of uploading I only have one other video. There's also tons and tons and tons of videos on YouTube that you can watch if you are triggered by that. I really just don't want to upset any of you guys, so please just know that I'm going to be talking about that. And I also want to say, please, I'm not making this video for you guys to feel bad for me. Please, please, please don't feel bad for me. A lot of these things happened a long time ago. Only one of them was very recent, but they happened a long time ago and they became, at the end of the day, something that made me stronger and better, so it's not something that you guys need to feel bad about. I don't need pity or sympathy or anything like that, so please, please, please don't feel bad for me. Also, grab your snacks because y'all know I can talk for a long time. Oops. Alright, so this story starts in April of 2018 when I was 17 and a senior in high school, getting ready to end out my senior year. April 2018 was one of the most traumatic months of my life because I experienced two deeply unsettling traumas on the same day. So the first trauma, I got home from spring break in April. I went to Florida to visit my grandparents, and as soon as I got home, literally the second that I walked into my room, I knew that something felt off. It felt like somebody had been there, and it wasn't like my mom cleaned up my room for me while I was on vacation. It was like somebody had been going through my stuff. A few days later, on April 17th, I was going through my things and ended up realizing that a lot of stuff was missing. Because I was missing things, my mom started looking at her things and around the house, and we realized that we were missing a ton of stuff. It turns out that over a pretty significant period of time, somebody extremely close to my family was robbing us blind. In the end, the amount of things that she stole ended up totaling to around, I believe, $18,000. And a lot of the things that she stole was from me. We only got one thing back that she stole, thankfully. It was my Martin guitar that my grandmother gave me that was her father's, and that was very important to me, so I'm very happy that I got that back. But this woman went through, like, all my stuff, like digging in my drawers. So I felt extremely violated and very unsafe in my own home because somebody had been through my things. Like, that's a deeply unsettling feeling. And on the same day that I realized I was robbed, I was hanging out with somebody who I thought was my friend, and I now know is definitely not my friend, but he decided that my words were not important, and he decided to sexually assault me. That was probably the most life-changing experience of my life, and for about a month I was in complete denial that it even happened. I didn't want to accept that it had happened. I didn't want to admit that it had happened. I didn't want to be a victim. I desperately did not want to be a victim. But about a month later, like I said, I ended up accepting it, and it completely crushed and destroyed me. There is no way to explain how horrible it made me feel. And I hope that if you don't already understand how I feel, that you never do understand, because it is truly the most violating feeling in the entire world. Because in this world, the one thing that really belongs to you is your body. And somebody deciding that they have power over your body and you don't is extremely demeaning and degrading, and just makes you feel so gross and disgusting and used. And I was a total wreck. So I wasn't safe in my own home, and I wasn't safe in my own body and my own mind, because an intruder had been in both places. So I was very unsafe and very lost, and I turned to my good old friend marijuana to help me get through that, which marijuana is an extremely helpful plant. It is an extremely beneficial medication, and there are so many amazing things about cannabis. But if you are using cannabis in the wrong state of mind, it is really, really horrible for you, and it can cause a lot of problems. I was using cannabis so I didn't have to feel what I was feeling, and it ended up really biting me in the ass, which I will talk about. It just made me feel so worthless and just used and disgusting. And I didn't want to leave my house, and I didn't want to meet anyone new, and I didn't want to be near anyone if I didn't know them really well, because I didn't know who I could trust anymore, because both of the people that did these things to me were people that was very close to. And while the people in my life, like my mom and my therapists and my friends, knew what happened and I talked about it, I never really dealt with it. So it just kept getting worse. The way that I was feeling, that is. Until I finally was just a big blob of nothing. I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to see anyone. The only person that I saw was my boyfriend. I would basically go to work, go to school, go to my boyfriend's house, and that was it. And then in September, I had my first mental breakdown of this story. There are two. My first breakdown was basically when my boyfriend at the time realized that I was acting different, and he was like, "Why are you acting the way that you're acting? Like, what's wrong?" And I told him kind of what had been going on, how I had been feeling about myself, and how gross and horrible my self-image was. And I told him that I had stopped going to therapy, and nobody knew that I had stopped going to therapy. So he told me that I had to go back to therapy and at least try to start talking about what was going on in my head. So I did. I went back to therapy, and literally as soon as I walked out of my therapy building, I felt everything change, and I started making these very big life decisions, one of which being the biggest decision I have made to this day, and that was to drop out of college. Yes, I dropped out of college. If you've been watching me for a while, you might know that I was in college studying psychology to become a therapist, because that's what I said I wanted to do. I said I wanted to be a therapist. But guess what? That was a lie. I have never been a big school person. I never did really well in school, and it wasn't because I was stupid. I'm actually very smart. The problem was that I just didn't do well in the American education system. The way that they teach just wasn't it for me. It didn't work for me. I love to learn, but the environment and the way that they make you learn in school is more like forcing information down your throat so you get a good grade, but you don't need to remember any of this stuff. They don't care if you remember they don't actually care if you're learning, they care if you're doing well. And that was a big issue for me. And everybody told me I was going to do so well in college. I would do so much better in college. I'd flourish in college, 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 college. Well, I got to college and nothing changed. I was so lost while I was in college because I would spend my whole time in class sitting there thinking, I'm wasting so much time and money right now because I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a therapist. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know, as a person who spent most of my childhood and all of my adolescence in therapy, I know that if you are going to be a mental health professional, you need to want to be there more than anything in the entire world. It needs to be your passion. It needs to be the most important thing to you. It has to be everything, because if it's not, the kids know. They know when it's not your life. They know when you don't care about them, and it makes such a big impact on them, because for some of these kids, you're the only person that they have to talk to. And I love helping people, and I love sharing my story and giving advice, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life sitting in an office listening to kids talk about going through the same things that I went through when I was younger and still go through right now. I just can't see myself doing that. And I was also thinking about dropping out of college because I was paying for college out of my own pocket. For my first 2 years, I was getting my associate's degree at a community college, so I could afford to pay for college myself by working. But once I got to my bachelor's and my master's degree, I was going to have to take out student loans because there was no way that I could pay for it myself. And then I started thinking, well, I have to have my master's if I want to get a job in psychology, so that's even more student loan debt and even more school. And I still don't want to do psychology. I don't want to be a therapist. And if I don't get my master's and I just get my bachelor's and I'm going to come out of school with student loan debt and an absolutely useless degree, because you can't get a job in psychology unless you have a master's degree. Like, you can't get a real good paying job. You can't be a therapist if you don't have a master's degree. And I just knew that this was not what I wanted to do. And one Friday, 2 days after my initial therapy appointment, I woke up that morning and I started thinking, what if I dropped out of college? And then I started doing my makeup for the first time in a long time. Because when I was going through this depressive period, I didn't want to wear any makeup. I didn't want to do my makeup. My makeup was work for me. I didn't love it. I didn't care about it the way that I do now. And for the first time in a long time, I relaxed into doing my makeup. I enjoyed it. I had fun doing it. And then this switch flipped in my head, and I realized this is what I love to do. I love makeup, and I've always loved makeup. I've loved makeup since I was a little kid, and it's always been what I wanted to do. But my family was like, that's not a solid career choice, so pick something else. And I picked psychology because my life revolved around my mental health at the time, and what else was I gonna do? What else did I like? I liked helping people, I liked giving advice, but I love makeup. So it literally only took a few hours. I ended up booking an emergency therapy appointment for that morning, and literally went from therapy straight to work, from my work to my ex-boyfriend's house, because we were going to the Renaissance Fair the next day. And I got there and I was like, all right, my mind's made up, I'm dropping out of college. And he was like, what? Whoa, we need to talk about these things before you do them. And I was like, no, I'm dropping out. This isn't what I want to do, and I don't want to waste any more time, because I've been wasting years of my life not focusing on what I love to do, because for years I had completely pushed makeup to the back of my mind and I never did my makeup. If you knew me my senior year versus my freshman year, I wore makeup to school every single day except for one day. And the one day that I didn't wear makeup was because I was going to junior prom that day and I was going to be doing my makeup for prom, so I didn't wear any makeup to school. That was the one day that I didn't wear makeup. Now, my senior year, you were lucky if I wore makeup. My first day of my sophomore year of college, I didn't wear makeup, which was crazy for me. I had no drive for it. I lost my passion for it. And I realized that I did during this mental breakdown in September, and I decided that I was going to drop out of college. If you guys want a full video about me dropping out of college, how I told my mom, if I regret it, all of that stuff, I would gladly do a video about it. But yeah, if you want to see that, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any specific questions about dropping out of college and stuff like that, I will be sure to answer them in a video. Then the next day at the Renaissance Fair, I ended up meeting somebody who's very important to me and changed my life forever. And she kind of solidified in my mind that I was doing the right thing. And I made up my mind and I dropped out of college. And I decided to enroll in makeup artistry school. And after I enrolled in makeup artistry school, I thought everything was gonna get better. I thought I was gonna start working so hard on my makeup and start making YouTube videos again, and everything was gonna be great. And then I crashed again, and my mental illness went down the drain, or my mental health went down the drain, and I really just fell back into depression, and it was really, really bad this time around. All I would do all day long was lay in bed and dissociate. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work on schoolwork. I didn't want to do my makeup. I didn't want to hang out with my friends. I didn't want to leave my house because I still hadn't really dealt with the issue of my body image and why it was bothering me so much, and the effects that the trauma had on me. And I was still smoking that good kush while in a bad state of mind, and I ended up developing psychosis. If you don't know what psychosis is a mental illness that is extremely severe, and it causes a disconnect from reality. If you've ever heard of somebody being called psychotic people have psychosis. No, it doesn't mean that you're crazy or dangerous or anything like that, but I ended up developing psychosis. Marijuana can cause psychosis when you use it wrong. I was definitely using it wrong. I was not in the right state of mind. And I ended up developing a depressive psychosis. So I became so obsessed with the way that I look, and I genuinely believed that I was like the ugliest person on the planet and that I was like deformed or something, but that I was so ugly that when I went out in public, I was unsafe because people were out to get me because I was so disgusting and ugly, and it was all I could ever think about, and I would just dissociate and think about the way that I looked all day long, and it was soul-crushing. And I finally got sick of feeling the way that I was feeling, and I started realizing how I was feeling, and started separating my own thoughts from the psychosis thoughts. And I went to my therapist and I was like, I think I have psychosis. And I told her everything that was going on with me, and she was like, you need to go to the psychiatrist right now. And she made me go to the psychiatrist in, this happened late February, early March, actually. So this was very recent. This was the one event that happened that was recent. So I go to the psychiatrist, they confirmed that I had psychosis, and they put me on medication. And the first week of that medication, you guys, was hell. I was so sick. I was living with my ex-boyfriend. I was freaking miserable, not sleeping, not eating, like horrible. But then after that week, something changed. And I suddenly felt better than I have ever felt in my entire life. So, as far as psychosis goes, I no longer have psychosis because psychosis is not a mental illness that you have forever. It's actually very treatable with medication. So, if you have psychosis, see a psychiatrist, get on medication. You don't have to live like this. Or if you think that you have psychosis, see a psychiatrist, get a professional opinion, get on medication because it'll help you. I promise. Well, I don't promise, but it helped me. And in most cases, people with psychotic disorders end up getting a lot of help from medication. So no, I don't have psychosis anymore. I don't have any psychotic symptoms or any psychotic behaviors. I do still struggle with body image issues, but it's something that I'm working on, and it's definitely at the lowest low that it has been at in a very, 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 very long time. So when I started taking the medication and started feeling better, I had this crazy idea that I would come back to social media. And I remember coming back to Instagram and going on Instagram Live and having you guys all surround me and love me and be so excited that I was back. And for the first time in forever, I felt so much overwhelming love that, like, I couldn't ever let doing this go. I love doing this. So quarantine started and I decided that I would get back to doing Instagram and YouTube. And it took me a while to get to YouTube because this one is a little bit more frightening than Instagram Lives, but I am so happy where I'm at right now. I love where I'm going. I've been working really hard on school. I've been working really hard every day on creating makeup looks. I started my own makeup Instagram, which is terrifying to me because I post a picture of my eye look every single day, at least every single day so far. And that is so far out of my comfort zone, but it's bringing me places that I want to go, and doing this is bringing me places that I want to go too, and I freaking miss doing this. I miss hanging out with you guys. I miss interacting, and this is what I love to do. I love makeup and I love creating content and I love being in front of this camera and talking to you guys and sharing crazy stories and being there for you guys. It's incredible, and I hope that I get to do this for the rest of my life because this is what I love to do. I've been through so much in my life, and so much in the past couple years that you guys have watched me go through, and I have grown and matured and just blossomed into a beautiful young woman who I am so proud to be, and I am so excited to be back to share what I've learned with you guys, to share makeup with you guys, to share laughs with you guys and make memories and all that stuff. And this new channel for me, oh, I didn't tell you guys, I changed my last name from my father's last name to my mom's last name. So I am no longer Aubrey Griffin, I am Aubrey O'Rourke, which, funny enough, as my name change was finalized, was actually when I started feeling better. So it's like this new person just came forth from me, Aubrey O'Rourke. She's amazing, she's cool, she's a goth hippie, she's a witchy hippie, she makes YouTube videos, she's a makeup artist, she's cool and confident, and she loves herself. It feels good to love myself because I'm not used to it. And I want to thank you guys because for a really, really, really long time, my Kit Kats, which I'm not going to be calling you guys Kit Kats anymore, but my fans, my followers, my family, you guys have been loving me when I couldn't love myself, and I'm so, so eternally grateful for the love that you've given me and for the support and the fact that some of you guys are still here and you've been here for so long. Like, it's insane. I can't even begin. So, that is where I've been. I was at my lowest point. I hit rock bottom and I didn't know if I was gonna make it through. And then I asked for help and I got help, and I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And there is no shame in the fact that I have to take medication to feel this good. Just remember that too, because I recently had somebody in my life who tried to make me feel really bad about the fact that I take medication. Do not let anybody make you feel bad about that. Taking medication is nothing to be ashamed of. If it helps you, if it does something good for you, then that is all that is important and that's all that matters. Word to your mother. But I want to talk about the future of the channel. So I don't have your responses yet on the video that I last uploaded, the makeup tutorial with the cremated palette, because I actually filmed that video yesterday and I haven't uploaded it yet. So I don't know what you guys want to see, but I'm totally going to be uploading tons of makeup content and story times, and I got requests to do stuff about skincare, so eventually I'm going to be talking about skincare. I'll probably be talking about hair a little bit, going to be talking about piercings and tattoos. Something that I didn't address in my last video is the last time you guys saw me, I didn't have any piercings on my face, and now I have piercings on my face and in my face. So yes, I will be making videos about piercings, tattoos, fashion, makeup, beauty, anything you guys want to see. Then just comment down below what kind of videos you would like me to make, and I will do my best to make it happen because you guys are the reason that I do this, and I just want to make you happy. I love you guys so much. Again, thank you so much for supporting me on this journey and following me for as long as you have. I know that there have been times where I've made big mistakes and you guys have stood by me and believed in me and loved me even though I made those mistakes. And I'm so grateful to have this chance to start over but take my family with me. So, welcome to the new chapter of our life. I love you guys so much. If you guys want to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video, because sometimes YouTube doesn't want to show you videos that creators upload, so make sure you hit that bell so that you always know when I upload a new video, because I promise I'm actually going to be uploading videos now, unlike my whole life. Alright, I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!